podcast. My name is Monika and this is episode 21. I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a self-drafted pattern. It's my first cable knit sweater. It's made out of Lykkegarn Merino in the colorway Mars. I'm very happy with this sweater. It's a sweater that I've been working on quite a long time, and for some reason every time I think it's done I find something else I want to change about it, but I think now I have come to an iteration where I'm actually completely done and very happy with it. So yeah, it's also finally been blocked. I've been wearing it a few times during the podcast without blocking it, since the latest difference was just the sleeve length and the body length. Yeah, it is bracelet length, like almost exactly, which was what I wanted. So yeah. Okay, I actually have a finished object this week, which is very exciting because it's been a little while since the last time. And it didn't quite turn out the way I imagined when I started. I'll show it first and then I can explain why it didn't quite go the way I wanted initially. So yeah. This it was supposed to be my sailor sweater, but I have turned it into my sailor slipover. This is also a self-drafted pattern. It has not been blocked yet because I finished it literally yesterday. So yeah, I'm just gonna fold it up so I can still show it. The reason why this didn't quite go the way I planned was, as you can clearly see, it's not a sweater, it doesn't have sleeves. But I was struggling all week trying to figure out how to do the sleeves that I wanted, picking up so I still had the stripes, and eventually I was like, I think perhaps this is why every striped sweater I've ever seen either is a raglan or a drop sleeved sweater, so you don't have this issue. And eventually I was like, no, I'm not going to deal with that issue. I'm not going to continue to be frustrated trying for more than an hour every day, ending up ripping it back, trying again. No, I want to be happy with it. Okay, it wasn't how I envisioned it when I started, but barely anything I make turns out that way anyway. So all in all, I am very pleased. I'm also very pleased with how neat it looks. I don't know how easy it is to see. But yeah, I think it looks very neat. The pickup rate was just right, which I really did have to think about it, how to pick up, because the sections are quite different. In the beginning you have this straight line where you just pick up the rows, which you're supposed to pick up every 2 out of 3 or every 5 out of 7 if I remember correctly. I did every 2 out of 3. But then of course you get to this section where I have increased to get under the arm. And at this section I did try a bit different things, and eventually I figured out that every 3 out of 4 was the correct, the best rate. And then of course here right under the arm I picked up every stitch. And I do think I have figured out the best way to get a very seamless and neat way of picking up. So it kind of looks like I just like I did the ribbing first and then continued with the body or something like that. They're exactly into the right stitch, not half a stitch over as you usually would see. So yeah, I did do the same amount of ribbing for the armhole as for the collar, and I did do the setup rows for the Italian bind off before I did it. And yeah, I think all in all, very neat, very tidy. Very much looking forward to blocking it so I can make it look even better. So next time I will hopefully be wearing it. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, I'm more happy with it now than I was while working on or trying to figure out the sleeves. And the sleeve part was making me dislike the project, and I think that was why I also hibernated this project for a while, because I did try to figure out how to pick up the sleeves before I put it away, but it just didn't quite. Sorry, my hair is doing some weird stuff here. The sleeves didn't quite work out the way I wanted them to, so instead of being annoyed and mad about that, I just decided to fix that issue altogether by just omitting the sleeves. So this was a good decision. At least I think so. So yeah, that actually means I'm down to only 3 sweaters at the moment as whips, and I'm still on 1 pair of socks, and I'm really hoping I will be done with them tonight. Probably not tonight, I will probably be done with them tomorrow, but I really want to be done with them today. Anyway, I'm gonna put this sweater away. Well, slipover, not a sweater. And then I can show you the sock pair, because that's what's on top here. So, last time I was almost done with 1 sock, and that one is now done. And I know it looks super tight, but it does fit. I did try them on. And the other pair, not the other pair, the other sock, is this one. It looks terrible on the needles. I think all socks look terrible until they're blocked. But when you're wearing them, you can't see that anyway. But yeah, I am very pleased. I have approximately 40 more rows until the toes. So I'm very happy. This went a lot faster than I initially thought, and I have not been prioritizing these ones. I've been using these as public transport projects and video editing projects. So yeah, this is just when I need something stockinette in the round, because no, actually one of my other projects is a stockinette in the round. It just hasn't been the priority this week. So yeah, I'm pretty certain next week these are gonna be done, and hopefully also blocked, because they look so much better then. But yeah, I just realized I forgot to say what yarn the sailor sweater, sailor slipover is made out of, but I'm gonna do this first. This is Anita Strikketante in the colorway 172, which is really beautiful blue and kind of like turquoise, green, speckled, striped kind of pair of socks, and they are amazing. I really, really, really do love these socks and this yarn. I'm doing the traditional 64 stitches, but that's just because I'm knitting on 2mm needles and I have a super tight gauge. So yeah, I don't know how easy it is to see. Right, if I do this maybe. But yeah, I'm hoping these socks will wear a lot better with time than some of my previous pairs. Focus on the sock. Yes. I have knit a lot of socks throughout the years, but I haven't necessarily been knitting them with sock yarn. And most of the socks I've knit did turn out to be way too big when I started using sock yarn, this type of sock yarn. So most of them I have given away. So at the moment I have one pair and this pair that's actually gonna fit me. And I'm very excited about that. So yeah. I am very much looking forward to using these. I want to use them as summer socks. I usually wear the same black pair of socks, type of socks, throughout the year, but they are a bit too long to be summer socks, and I do not enjoy wearing my exercise socks as normal socks. They are a bit too tight. So yeah, I'm very particular about socks for some reason. But yeah, I'm hoping to get these done by next week so I can show them vlogged in all their glory. If this does turn out to be too tight, I know it is because I started using 9-inch needles or something like that, like in the round. Previously I have done a combination of magic loop and DBNs. DBNs for the heel and toes and magic loop for the rest. But I have not enjoyed that. Not for... both yes and no. I like to change it up, and at the moment I am on a circle and needle kick, so yeah. We'll see. I am enjoying this, but I am knitting quite a lot tighter when I'm on circular needles instead of DPNs or magic loop. But I do think I have very consistent tension, so it's not all bad. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this socks, but I'm gonna move the needle, no, not the needle, the stitch marker. This is how far I got last time, and like that's half a sock, so I'm very pleased with that. I'm gonna move it over here, if I can manage. That was not easy. There we go. So yeah, now I can see how most likely it won't be here, this won't be here next week, because it will be done and blocked, but just in case I have moved the marker. So yeah, putting this away. Now the slipover. I forgot to say, it's made out of 2 different types of yarn. The turquoise one is MITU, Rauma MITU, in the colorway turquoise. And the white one is Viking Alpakka Storm in the colorway white. I thought it was natural white, but it's just white, as far as I know. So yeah, those are my 2 first projects. One done and one not, soon to be done. There you go. For some reason the camera didn't want to focus. But yeah, I have more sweater projects, and I have one project I'm really excited about talking about a little bit later. Do that at the end. Don't go too far ahead now. I'm very excited, so yeah. Last time I was very, very tired, and when I was editing it I was like, I do not have the peppy energy I usually have. I'm very sorry about that. I hope the episode still went over well with you guys. To be honest, I felt like I was super tired, but this time I'm filming a bit earlier. It's still late, but it's earlier. So yeah, I'm not gonna go straight to bed afterwards. Now, I have a second sweater project, but this one you have seen before. Actually, I've seen all of my projects before if you've been here before, but yeah. This one is my second cable sweater. It is the same pattern as this one, though I haven't actually written up the pattern yet. I just taken some notes and I'm planning on releasing it eventually. I just haven't quite gotten there yet. But yeah, this is my second cable knit sweater. So yeah, I have made some slight modifications to the pattern, I guess. Yeah, I have decided that for the larger sizes, this cable here, that's a raglan cable, it will shift more towards the body before the raglan increases are done, to kind of make it more balanced. And I have changed the type of cable that's under the arm. In the original one, this one, it's a honeycomb pattern that's all the way under the arm, but the honeycomb pattern is very warm and it's not very practical to have under the arms. It's not a big problem for me, because I don't necessarily turn very warm. Usually I'm very cold, and if I do get warm I can always just take the sweater off. But I wanted the pattern to be more, for one thing, easier to read because you would have less charts, but also just in general better for more people. So I'm knitting this one in a size bigger than the one I'm wearing. And yeah, the yarn is Lille thick merino in the colorway Misty Mountain, which is very nice. And oh, that was just my phone. Give me a moment, I will turn off the vibrations or whatever. Yes, I forgot that I had put it only on silent and not on, come on, focus, thank you, not on vibration free. So yeah, yes, when I bought this yarn I was pretty certain I would have enough, but afterwards I decided I wanted to knit a bigger size and also probably make it longer and with longer sleeves and stuff, so I was a bit worried I wouldn't have enough. So I have bought more yarn, but the yarn dyer didn't have this exact color, so I bought, or the base yarn either, she had only thin merino, so I bought a skein of thin merino in this very dark green color. I think it was called Skogen Norden, like forest in the north. Anyway, that skein has this very deep green color, so it matches very well, but it's not very variegated, it is very slightly tonal. I'm hoping I won't need it, but I have it just in case. And if I do need it, I plan on using it for the collar and the cuffs, and hopefully have enough left over to still make myself a pair of socks, or at least use some of it to like have a contrast heel or something, because I love the yarn very much. When I bought this yarn and started using it, I didn't realize it was sock yarn. It's DK sock yarn, and it is reinforced with nylon. So this sweater will be a bit more hard wearing than some of my other sweaters, which is a good thing. I do not know how the nylon will, like, how that will make the sweater wear. Like, I know it will be more hard wearing, but will it be cooler, warmer? Will it be harder to block it into place? I do not know. And I'm very excited to figure it out, because maybe I will be more inclined to use more sock yarn for sweaters if it turns out that it actually holds up quite well and has nice drape and all of that. So yeah, I think I'm still only on my second ball, because I do have 3 balls over there, and I do think I remember I only bought 3. Like 5, I mean. Yeah. Had 3 left over, only bought 3, that makes no sense. I think I only bought 5, because that's what I usually buy. I do have to remember that I need to buy more, than that, unless I'm gonna hold it with something else, because my size has changed, and also my preference for how tight my clothing are. So I would prefer to have more yarn. So yeah, I'm gonna put this sweater away. I love it a lot. I have not knit a lot on it. It has not been my priority knit. Technically my sailor slipover has been my priority, but that also doesn't look like it has a lot of progress because I ripped it out like 20 times. So yeah, I've only knit like 5 or 6 rows on this sweater. So yeah, that's enough about this one. The next one is also a green sweater. And I have had a bit more progress on this one because it was it was my priority knit when I wasn't trying to figure out the sailor sweater or sailor slipover. So yeah, I just have to figure out what way this is going. There you go. It was not so easy to make it lay the way I wanted to. I'm really much looking forward to blocking this sweater so it will lay a lot nicer. This is my textured sweater. And last time I had the body done, but I hadn't picked up for sleeves yet. So the part that's new is the sleeve part. This one sleeve. And as you can see, I have not gotten particularly far. I have done the short row shaping here and one more section, and I have started on the next section, I guess is the right way to say. I do think I'm gonna think back a little bit and redo how I'm doing the decreases, because of the way I picked up the sleeves, I ended up with tighter sleeves than I initially thought, but that was actually very good because it looked huge before I picked up the stitches, and now it looks reasonable in my eyes. But I do think I want this to be a bit more boxy, and I do not think I like the way I started doing the decreases. So I think I'm gonna change that a bit. Because both of the stitch patterns are a multiple of 6, I'm gonna have to decrease away 6 stitches in stitch pattern to make it look good, if I'm gonna continue the stitch pattern all the way through. But I don't want to do too rapid of decreases either. I'm gonna have to do some finagling, I guess, to figure it out. Though I must say, this is the underarm, and this stitch marker is marking the beginning of round, and the way that I have done the stitch pattern under the arm, you cannot tell where the beginning of round is when you look at the diamond pattern, and I'm very pleased with that. You can see it in the what's it called, I have a few rows where I do some garter stitch as a border. There you can see where it switches, but I didn't actually care too much. You can barely see it, like down here, and I'm very happy with that. I don't mind at all. So yeah, this is also a self-drafted pattern. I have not figured a good name for it yet, but I will find a good name eventually. just realized I'm not 100% certain if... No, I did do that right. Okay, good. I just was afraid I had centered the top of the sleeve incorrectly, but no, I had thought about it and I remembered correctly. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to wearing this. It is a bit billowy and all of that right now because of the stitch pattern, but I think this is gonna be a super nice, super cozy, oversized sweater. So yeah. I also did set of rows for the Italian bind off on the collar of this. I think also did it on the hem. Yeah, I did. Though this is twisted rib and I didn't quite do the Italian bind off correctly to make it still be twisted rib, but I don't think it matters that much. It still looks good. It's just, it's twisted rib and then eventually it kind of like turns into not twisted, just stockinette. It kind of looks that way. So yeah, it looks good, I think. That is my last winter sweater. Because my last project... Oh no, please don't. Yes, good. I almost lost my needles and that would have sent me into a panic. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to say the green texture sweater is made out of Sandnes Garn Smart in the colorway Sjøgrønn. For some reason, I forget every color ever as soon as I start talking about them. So yeah. Anyway, this is my red sweater. The color looks better today than it did last time. It's still a bit too orange, but it's more accurate, I think. This is a sweater that I knit up in Strikkekista Potensial, which is yarn that's made out of 50% Superwash Merino and 50% silk. So it is very, very soft and squishy and like kind of slippery. Hard to describe, but like super nice to the touch. And it's also super thin because this yarn, it's 600 meters per 100 grams, which is thinner than most sock yarn. So, but I didn't want it to be as dense as socks I'm knitting, so I'm knitting this up in 2.5mm needles. And I have not knit on this at all in the past week. This has been laying at the bottom of my knitting basket, and with the sailor slipover being the priority, and then knitting or picking up the sleeves for the, or one sleeve at the moment, for the green sweater, the green textured sweater, I just haven't been in the mood to do some stockinettes in the round knitting at all. But yeah, I do think I'm gonna start working on this again quite soon. I hope so, at least. Though the weather has turned right around where we live. Last week we had, no, not last week, the week before, we had this great week with a false spring, which we all knew was a false spring because early March is not going to be a proper spring, but like the sun was shining, all the snow was melting, it was almost proper warm, and then we woke up this week with a bunch of snow, and we were all like, okay, I know I like snow, but I was so mentally prepared for summer. So this has just been lingering because I wasn't in the mood for summer knitting. Even though this has a double folded collar, I consider this to be a spring slash summer knit. The yarn is thin enough, and with the silk it will be breathing enough that I am pretty certain I can wear it whenever I want throughout the summer. It doesn't get so hot here that I can't wear like regular clothing during the summer. I don't get that warm anyway. So yeah, I'm planning on making this into a long sleeve, and very simple to just put it on, take it off, have a singlet underneath kind of thing. I don't know if I don't remember if I said the colorway. It's the colorway Lollipop. The yarn is from Strikkekista, it's called Potensial. So yeah, I do like this shoulder construction. I say that every time, but it's a shoulder construction I haven't done before. It's a saddle shoulder, I think it's called. And at the moment I am increasing to get enough stitches to split for sleeves. So I am pretty certain I have like 400 stitches here, but it's still not quite enough because, you know, super thin and all of that. This is a pattern I have written up, so I will probably knit more patterns and try and match the gauge, though it might be a lot thicker if I try and match the gauge. Maybe I should instead just write a similar pattern with a different gauge. But all in all, I am very pleased with this one. So yeah. Okay. I feel like I blew through all the whips, but I usually feel like I do that, and I still have a lot of things to say. Oh, sorry, I accidentally kicked the computer. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to having this for summer though, so better get going. The reason why I'm super excited today is because I have so many ideas. And I really want to execute them all, but of course I can't. For one thing, I want to get my socks done quick as possible so I can start on a second pair of under the oak socks for myself. Under the oak socks is a pattern I have released, so if you do want to look at it, you can. They are linked in the description, so you can look them up if you want to. But yeah, I desperately want a second pair of those because those are a bit thicker than the fingering weight socks that I've been knitting now. And since I had to condemn a pair of socks last week, sadly I'm still looking at them sitting on top of my garbage here in my room. So sad. I don't want to let them go, but it's about time. So I desperately want to cast on a second pair of socks, but I shouldn't and I can't and all of that. Yeah, so I'm trying to show restraint and not cast on any more socks until I'm done with that one. But the second thing is I have gotten the yarn for the sweater for our friend that's been admiring my knitwear for quite a while. So yeah, Danny, if you're looking at this, go away. You're not supposed to see this, okay? Come back later. So yeah, I have bought the yarn for a pattern that I'm planning on knitting. I do not remember the name of the pattern on top of my head. Give me a moment and I will check. It is called Winter's Night Enchantment. It is a drops design pattern, so it's free, which is very nice. And the recommended yarn is Drops Charisma, which is the yarn that I have up here. So this is the icy blue and the one next to it is, I think it's called navy, not 100% certain. But my plan is, now that the slipover is done and hopefully I will be done with the socks, I can have 2 new cast-ons next week. And I'm very excited about that. I really do hope I can do that. I also have like a million ideas. I don't know if you might have noticed, but I did finally get those extra shelves, so I have yet again reorganized my yarn. So yeah. This shelf, at the very end, is fingering weight sock yarn, but from here is fingering weight that's not sock yarn. And this shelf is just sock yarn. Well, this shelf is not sock yarn except for the green one at the very end there, because that's the, there you go, this one. That's the green yarn I'm using for my cable sweater. This is also not sock yarn, but this is enough for a sweater, so I put it together. And then I have more sock yarn here at this end. That is Alpakka forte. That's what I'm gonna use for my under the oak socks. And then here I have a lot of, well, actually all of my Sandnes garn. This is Alpakka silke. I have 12 of them. I'm gonna hold them together with this yarn. That's the plan. I do not know if that's gonna work. But the plan is to hold them together to mute the colors here, because they are pastel-y, like pastel colored, but they are like wildly different. It's green and blue and pink and I think perhaps some purple. Been a while since I looked at them, but yeah, I'm trying to like, because this one is already kind of crazy enough, so I don't need 2 sweaters that's the same. And then here, these are a combination of tynn merino and baby ull lanet. They're in 2 layers into the shelf. And then the shelf underneath that I have only untold yarn. Most of it is cotton merino, which I'm very much looking forward to knitting myself more t-shirts, because I'm actually wearing cotton merino untold t-shirt on right now, and I love it. It's so nice, it's so cozy, but I only have one, and I desperately need more in all colors. Yeah, anyway, and I also have some thin merino next to it that I'm gonna also knit into sweater. I have 10 balls. So yeah, I think that's gonna be enough. It's gonna be a light sweater because it's very light merino. It's called light merino. And then in this shelf here, this shelf is mostly leftovers. Some of it is Rauma, but most of it is double Sunday. That's also Sandnes garn. That's what I'm planning on using for a scarf, together with some mohair I have at the very top here, which you can't see. So yeah. And I also have 3 sweater quantities at the very top that you can't see, which I'm also very much looking forward to knitting up, but that's going to be towards the fall. Yeah. I have so many plans and so many ideas, and definitely not enough time. I really can't wait till Easter so I can just most of the time sit in it. But that's in the future. I'm not quite there yet. Easter is way too far away. It's almost exactly a month from now. So yeah. I do wish I had a slight break. I must admit, I have been terribly ill way too much the past few months. It's been colds and flus and migraines. I really do hope I don't get more sick, because I feel bad. Not just physically I feel bad because I'm sick, but I've been relatively healthy the past year. You know that's not true, considering how often I tell you I've been sick, but like, I feel like I haven't been as ill in the past year as I have been in the past few months. And of course it's the stress with a new job, but also moving into a job where everyone has children, and having children means there are more illness going around. That's just part of it. But also I've just in general been more ill. I don't know what has been triggering all these migraines. Last week I had 3 migraines, and that's too much. How on earth am I supposed to get anything done when I can't even have the lights on? That doesn't work. So yeah, I am hoping that the worst is behind me, though I'm also going to start an elimination diet. Yeah. But my husband has convinced me to wait until after my birthday, because starting now will mean I'm gonna be miserable when I'm trying to celebrate my birthday, and that would just not work. So yeah, my birthday isn't until next week, so or my birthday is next week. So the week after I will have started that elimination diet, which means the things I can eat will be very limited, but also very healthy. So it's probably just for the better anyway. No caffeine, no sugar, no artificial sugar, because that can also trigger migraines. And a bunch of other things I'm not supposed to eat, like gluten. I don't think I'm sensitive to gluten, but when you're doing that elimination thing, you're supposed to eliminate everything and reintroduce it afterwards to say, okay, that's not the culprit. And considering how often I've had migraines lately, I do think I will be able to eliminate quite a few things. Though I'm pretty certain my migraines have been stress related, and also because of the noise that's been around our house lately. There are someone fixing the roofs for us, but that means that there is a lot of metal work and in general noise that I'm not used to, and I think I'm just very sensitive to that. So yeah, good thing the roofs are getting fixed, but I do think they are triggering my migraines, sadly. So yeah, I'm hoping that when all the construction work is done and I've been through the elimination diet, I can confidently say that the few things I need to cut out, I now know what they are, and hopefully I can still eat chocolate. That it would be terrible if I couldn't do that. Then I just have to suffer migraines, I guess. I mean, it depends. If my migraines get worse enough, I probably will start associating the taste of chocolate with migraines if the chocolate is what's causing them. So, who knows? Yeah. But anyway, I know I have been rambling a little bit about my health and all of that. I'm hoping that this week, one, I will be healthy and not have any more migraines. And also I'm hoping to get a little more knitting time, though I know I won't, because this is the season for like 100 million meetings through all of the different organizations and stuff. So you're like, you have to show up and vote for stuff, and actually that means I can actually bring some of my knitting to some of the meetings. That I'm very glad I remembered that. I have to remember to bring my knitting tomorrow. We're having our yearly meeting in the choir, so that means that the first hour of the choir practice, we're starting it also earlier just to make sure that we still have enough time to actually sing afterwards. But the first hour that we're there, we're going to like go through a lot of papers and talk about the economy of the choir and vote over some stuff. Yeah, all of that. And while we're doing that, I can knit, so that's nice. I also have a meeting with our union. It's the yearly meeting there too, that's on Thursday. So I can also knit there. Very nice. And other than that, yeah, we're getting more shelves delivered on Wednesday from IKEA. We figured, I forgot that my mother-in-law has changed cars. It's the same brand, but it's a slightly smaller car than she had before, which meant we couldn't fit the shelves in the car. We could fit these shelves because they are just extra, but the entire bookshelf was too big, too long. So we're getting that delivered. So yeah, that's the Wednesday. I'm kind of like make IKEA furniture. Yeah. And then on Friday I have a work event. I don't understand how on earth I always am so busy. Yeah. Oh, and also I have a work event on Saturday, but that's a charity event. Not organized by our work, but by a colleague. He is this summer going to cycle to Paris and raise money for to beat children's cancer. And before the summer, we are he and other people from the work is organizing spinning events. So on Saturday, I'm going to go to a gym where we're all gonna meet and be spinning for 3 hours. Thankfully, I can do it at my own pace. I do not have to be a Tour de France cyclist. I can just do the amount of effort that is appropriate, I guess. I'm very much used to biking a lot. Biking is my usual mode of transportation, but I haven't been biking in almost 3 months. I've had one round with biking when the weather was actually nice and it didn't both rain and snow at the same time. But I quickly figured out I was in no shape to bike to and from work yet. My conditioning is too low, especially after all of the infections I've had and upper respiratory infections. So I'm hoping that I can do more spinning in my own free time to try and build up my conditioning again, so I can actually start biking to and from work. It's a bit impractical where we live right now. Well, I like where we live, but it does mean that where we live and where work is, they're on 2 different hills with a very steep valley between. So regardless of how I'm getting to work, there will be an uphill battle at the end, both ways. And last time, I do think it was because I was still ill when I tried to bike. I was done with the flu, but I wasn't like 100% well yet, and I decided to back to and from work, and I was so exhausted I ended up getting sick again. So that was my bad. Really should learn not to push myself too hard too fast, but if I don't, I won't get anything done, I guess. Yeah, really do need to learn to pace myself. But yeah, I'm hoping to get my conditioning up a bit, and I do look forward to spinning again. I used to do that a lot before, but lately I haven't. That, and also I'm trying to get back into my workout routine. I used to work out at least 3 times a week, but more likely 5 times a week before. But lately I have barely done 1 time a week. So yeah, I'm trying very hard to get back into a rhythm and work out every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday. The reason why I'm not counting Fridays is because usually there's always some event after work, either because I'm doing something with my husband or doing something at work or with the choir, but I will never be, well, never say never, but more than likely I will not be busy all day Saturday and Wednesdays and also Mondays. My husband goes to bed at 9 because he has to get up at 5 in the morning, which means that I am home alone at 9 o'clock, which means I can just go to the gym. That's also at a time where the gym is the most empty, so I can actually get my workout done and over quite quickly. Instead of staying an hour because I have to wait around, I can actually get in and out in half an hour. And then I can still get home and knit a little bit and all of that, and then do my my late night routine to actually get tired and fall asleep before 11. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, those are my plans for my time and my health. But when it comes to knitting, I have quite different plans. I want the socks done so I can start a different pair. I want at least one of the green sweaters to get done, and I probably should try and do the green texture one first. And also cast on the sweater for Danny. And when all of that's said and done, and I'm also knitting on my red sweater, I do want to cast on a t-shirt, and I want to cast on an Easter sweater. I know the Easter sweater will not be done this year. It's only a month till Easter, and the yarn I'm planning on using is fingering weight, so it's not gonna happen. But I've been talking about it previously. I want a yellow sweater with pink details. And I was thinking like, oh, but yellow is not my color and all of that. So I've been like hem-hawing and all of that. But no, I really do want that type of sweater. And also my husband has convinced me not to get rid of some of the yarn I was planning on getting rid of. I have one plastic bag with yarn that I had set aside that I was thinking like I'm gonna donate it or give it to my grandma or maybe sell it. But my husband was like, but you love that yarn. You bought it for a reason. I'm like, yeah, but I don't think I don't look good in it. Some of the yarn is a very, very bright yellow that doesn't quite look good with my complexion. And also the orange yarn that I've been talking about for ages, maybe I should just get rid of. Because how many pairs of orange socks do I need? And my husband was like, but you love it. You shouldn't just get rid of it just because you don't think the color suits you. You can use it for other things. You can do home decor with it. Yeah. And he has kind of convinced me. So I am thinking, at least one of the yarns, it is a very pale pink, which it is my mom's favorite color, and I know that if I knit myself a t-shirt with like lace for myself, eventually that t-shirt will wander into my mom's closet and live there. And perhaps that would be for the better, instead of... I don't think I enjoy getting rid of yarn in that way, like giving it away or throwing it out. I love every piece of yarn I have, and I really do want to use everything. So perhaps I should just use it. So yeah. Now, I've been rambling for almost an hour. Sorry about that. And I do have a lot of ideas, and like, I want to make a scarf, I want to make leg warmers, I want to make t-shirts, I want to make summer tops, I want to make sweaters, like a million of them. I do think at the moment I do not need any more yarn, so unless I have a specific project, I won't buy any yarn other than sock yarn, just because sock yarn gives me so much joy. But I will try and avoid buying any more sock yarn until the next yarn market. I know there's one in June, and hopefully there's no more until then. And I also know there's one in November. If I can go from now until June without buying any sock yarn, and only buy sock yarn at that yarn market, I will be thoroughly impressed, for one. But I will be even more impressed if I can go from June till November without buying any yarn. Because I'm pretty certain that when I do come to like September, October, I'm gonna have a million ideas for sweaters, and I would want to buy more yarn, but then I just have to pace myself and remember I have at least 3 sweater quantities available at the very top here, which you can't even see. Yeah. I was planning on working on that this... I was going to say spring, but that's not quite right, but like this winter. But changing jobs and all the illness I've had has meant I haven't had as much time for knitting as I have planned. So yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that I will be more healthy and all of that for the rest of the year, at least, would be nice. Yeah, don't get my hopes up, I guess. So yeah, I don't think I mentioned, but most of the yarn that's in this shelf is leftovers or yarn that I have been given as a gift, and most of it is 1 or 2 skeins at most. So yeah, even more leftover yarn projects I gotta figure out. That's just part of life, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna round out this episode now and say thank you all for watching. Please like the episode if you liked the episode, and subscribe if you haven't already. So yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye.